apparently I offended Tony by saying something. What offended you, Tony?
Well, your commentary that people who believe in a moral code, of something they define as a moral code that restricts them from certain behavior, is they don't have any true morals.
Actually, what I actually said was that if somebody does something or does not do something because they're afraid, someone say doesn't hurt somebody because they're afraid they're going to get punished, I'm saying that's not morals. It is prudent, but it's not moral. And that offended you?
Yes, because I feel that quite a few people are actually, they receive a lot of emotional and I could just say emotional benefit from going to or believing in something that helps them to have a foundation for their life. And for you to say that they don't have any true morals, that they don't understand what morality is.
I'm just saying that if I do not do something bad because I'm afraid I'm going to get punished, I don't call that morality. I call that being prudent.
Well, what about our judicial system then?
Same thing.
So you're saying that our judicial system does not curb people from committing crimes?
Absolutely it does, but refraining from crime is not necessarily being moral.
Oh, okay. So what is it being then when you refrain from crime?
It's being prudent.
What is the definition of prudent for the lay people out there?
It's a wise decision. I don't want to be hurt.
So when I said that I felt it was wise that people adhered to this same type of philosophy, then you said, oh, you can't apply that.
No, I just said it's not morality. I'm saying people who refrain from doing something because they're afraid of punishment or because they want reward can be said to be acting prudently, they can be said to be acting wisely, but they cannot be said to be acting morally.
And you base that upon your own personal opinion?
My own personal opinion and my understanding of my personal morality, yeah.
And your personal morality is based on?
The categorical imperative.
And that would be for the lay people out there?
For the lay people out there, the people that are lay.
The rest of us.
No.
The rest of us who aren't as wordsmiths like yourself. What does that mean?
That is true. I am kind of cool. No, the categorical imperative. Act that at the same time you would will that this act be universal law.
And you basically have ascertained this belief system because you just were born and you just said, I don't think that's a good idea.
No, I first got that particular construction from Immanuel Kant.
And you were 5 when you got it from Immanuel Kant?
I was 8, but that's beside the point.
And who's Immanuel Kant?
He was
an atheist philosopher or something?
Pardon?
I said an atheist philosopher.
No, Kant was actually
a Baptist minister.
No, I think he was a Lutheran minister.
And so, how did you come across that?
I don't know. Immanuel Kant, moral philosophy. That's just. I'm saying, I just don't think that.
Why do you think Immanuel Kant has the corner on the market of morality?
Oh, I didn't say he did, but I'm saying my understanding of what is moral is different from avoiding punishment.
Based upon what?
That makes sense to me.
Okay, so
that any definition of morality is not I'm trying to avoid getting hurt,
Or what about I'm trying to avoid not hurting others?
Can I put it this way?
Some people are selfish, and so what kind of morality is that?
It's a selfish morality.
Well, I don't really care. I'll run over this kid as long as nobody sees me, and I don't get caught. It's not hurting them, right?
No, Tony. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. Look, what I'm saying is if I put my hand on a hot stove, or if I do not put my hand on a hot stove because I know I'm going to hurt myself, that's not a moral choice. That's just a prudent choice.
That's a logical, biological choice. Because when your skin's the most sensitive part of your body, you learn that from childhood.
Okay.
Certain things will hurt you. I'm talking about a emotional belief system. Where did you come up with your emotional morality? Is it based on Immanuel Kant? Is it based on your experiences as a child?
No, a lot of it is intuitive, but I'm saying that.
Oh, and why is your intuition any more finely tuned than someone else's?
I'm just putting it this way.
Answer me.
I didn't say it was. But what I'm saying is that if I refrain from touching the hot stove, that is not a moral choice. It makes sense. It's a wise choice. You know, I base that on my empirical experience of touching hot things before, but it's not a moral choice.
Empirical for me, please.
Yeah, I've done it before. I've done it before. I've experienced it. I'm thinking it's probably going to happen again.
So basically, what I should do in order to develop my children's morality is throw them on out there and say, this kind of sounds like that continuum concept parenting. Throw them out there and say, okay, sink or swim, okay, go experience drug use, go experience alcohol use, go experience all these things, and then you'll build your moral character.
What?
You're saying you got your moral character from experience in life and reading Immanuel Kant.
No,
That's what I'm hearing.
That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm saying I get my knowledge on not to touch a hot stove from my experience, which is not moral.
We're talking about where did you build your moral character? Where does that come from? It comes from inside of each person.
Tony, I just made the.
Before there's some selfish folks out there, and they did not come up with any morality.
Tony,
you have to learn that. You
Tony,
were not born.
I brought the example of not touching a hot stove. I know that it's going to hurt me from my experience. It is not a moral choice. It is a choice that I make based on my experiences. And you turn that around and try to make that sound like I'm talking about morality, when in fact I'm talking about a decision which is not a moral decision. I'm talking about an experience which is simply prudent.
Okay, so I agree with you that not everything's based, that you do is based on morality, all right? Okay, but have you ever, there's this book, I think her name is Louise Kaplan, but I'm not sure. I know the book, I have it. It's called Oneness and Separateness. Is that we are born selfish and craving to do things that satisfy our own desires. And we have to learn and to be part of a greater society, and we learn that through our culture. And some things that cultures teach are not moral. Okay?
I agree.
And so if a person chooses to believe in something, say, our original conversation was about believing in biblical standards of morality. And if, like I was telling you earlier, my father said if a person goes to, or if they believe in God and all it gives them is, even if it just gives them hope or a good feeling, what's wrong with that?
I didn't say there was anything wrong with it. I simply said that not
if it keeps them
hurting,
from murdering their neighbor, that's fine too.
It is fine, but it's not a moral choice that they make. It's a prudent choice.
Your own personal belief system.
It's based on logic.
On logic. Okay, if my neighbor molests my kids, I may not think, gee, let me forgive them or call the cops.
I never suggested you should forgive them. That's more of a Christian principle.
Something. I mean, let me just be honest, okay?
Okay, but
possibly
forgiveness would be a Christian concept. I'm not talking about that.
It isn't actually.
Forgiveness is not a Christian concept.
You're trying to, when you say concept, what are you trying to say?
Well, doesn't that inform a lot of your behavior, the idea that you have to forgive people and empathize and all that sort of thing?
I think that you're twisting that out of context.
I didn't say anything about somebody molesting your children.
Forgiveness does not mean that you allow a person to continue to perpetrate things against you.
Oh, I totally know. I agree with that. I'm just saying, what does that have to do with morals?
You almost slipped, wordsmith, and said, I totally know that. I heard that. I'm sorry. What was that question?
That has nothing to do with making a moral choice.
Okay,
We're at the
listen.
10-minute mark. We have to leave. Thank you.
Okay.